Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Viva Gorilla, start us off, brother.
Yo, what's up, peoples? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever the heck in the world you are. It is the notorious Gorilla. He is the cowboy. And we are Algo Factory Tech, where you learn to trade like a hedge fund pro, where you not only learn the ins and outs of trading, but also how to build the algorithm so you can actually have a life and not stare at a screen all day. Algo Factory Tech. Learn to trade like a hedge fund pro. Learn to build the algorithms that make it all happen for you. And the links are all in the description box. And with that being said, Cowboy, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Having a couple of exciting days trading the NASDAQ, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. It's been pretty interesting to say the least. Lots of stuff happening, bro. I know you've already covered BTC's bloodbath.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting where the crypto market's going. I've been following some of these crypto bros and some of their I don't know, man, their rose-colored glasses, to say the least, or I would say the glazing, because they don't understand the look. If you don't understand the broader geostrategic, geoeconomic play, you're not going to get the markets. Bottom line, you got guys thinking they're like, this outflow in Bitcoin is going to be fine because what's going to happen is the United States is going to resurge and everything's going to be hunky-dory. And, we got backdoor deals cut with Iran and, we're going to be mining Bitcoin together. I mean, I'm just, being facetious here, but you got a lot of lunacy out there. And if you want to know the truth, this is the channel where you will get some really good quality intel to execute upon. And,
you see SGCS4NN. He took the Bitcoin trade that I put out. Yes, I put out on Tuesday during this show live on YouTube. I put this Bitcoin trade out there. So we'll get into NASDAQ in a second, but now I got to do a victory lap because our friend here, SGCS4NN, is making me want to show off here. But this was the trade, monster trade right here. This was a 1.75 to 1, but what's hidden behind there? Now, what does that mean? 1.75 to 1, right? So here is a 5 to 1 trade that actually was also taken at the same time, right? So there's the 5 to 1 trade. That means I put in, let's just pretend I put in $1,000. I took out $5,000, and it just so happened to be exactly a 5 to 1. Usually it's at like a 5.14 or something. It's just, it lucked out in being a 5 to 1. Because I don't try to make exact targets. I just do, I measure, and that's how it came out. But the broader trade here is this, 1.75 to 1. So putting in like 1,000 to pull out 1,750. And this is how we do here. We don't win them all because that's impossible, right? But we identify where price is going to go, when it's going to get there roughly, and then we measure our risk so that we win bigger than we lose. So had I lost even this smaller trade, right, I would have lost a risk of that $1,000. But the bigger trade pulled in $1,750, so I'm still in profit at $750. Well, in this case, both trades won. So I put in 2,000 would be in that hypothetical situation. It was able to pull out $67.50. Right? Or if you put in 200, you pulled out $675. And as long as you hit, even if you have a risk to reward where the green is bigger than the red, if you have it where you're going to pull out more than you put in, then you can make half of your trades win or even less, and you're still profitable. In many cases, you can win 40% of the time and still be very profitable. So we teach people how to do this, right? We teach people how to understand from a probabilistic scenario where price is going to go, when it's going to get there, and how to tilt the odds in your favor by winning. And I did this in front of everybody on YouTube. Go to our channel. First thing you should do is like and subscribe. Second thing is take a look at the live show on Tuesday. We took this here in front of everybody. The receipts are online. You got a lot of hucksters out there who basically what they do is they'll I'm going to take this trade, I'm going to take that trade, and they don't even show you the trade until it's already over. They'll put trades on their Twitter feed. Oh, I did this trade and it was so great, and they really didn't do that trade. And the real hucksters, they're crazy. They'll actually videotape 2 different versions of a trade. So they'll videotape having gone long or having gone short, and then they'll actually show you the one that wins and not show you the one that loses. And they took neither. Other ones will not actually take a real trade. They'll, take demo trades. I mean, there's a lot of fakery in this business. I'm going to tell you right now, we do it for real, and the receipts are right there on the screen, right? So go back there and check that out. So into the NASDAQ, we had an interesting news overnight kind of early morning situation. Okay. So what happened was we had, what was this? Right about here on Wednesday at right before the open, we saw a pretty strong pullback on the NASDAQ. You'll see it right there. And the news article came out, I think before the market opened, that there were some fighting going on in Iran, and, US was clashing with so-and-so somewhere. Okay, fine. The market pulled back. Right now, the market hasn't opened yet. And this is the CME where I'm trading. I'm testing out a prop firm for the first time ever. I've always been self-funded, or if I trade other people's money. Never have I been on a prop firm. I wanted to give that a shot so we could talk about it, and I can tell you what the advantages and disadvantages are. In my opinion, mostly advantages. And there's a process to that. We'll get to that in a minute, but I'll talk to you about this here. I will tell you, trading the NASDAQ compared to trading forex is very interesting. I'll put it to you that way. The spreads are tight, so you're not really dealing with a tight spread. You can enter with size at market if you want to, and you don't really lose a lot in the spread. And on top of that, it just has a lot of volatility, where forex this last several weeks has been very quiet. So now you can do both. I'm not saying you can't do that. You can go to prop firms, trade forex. I am definitely a forex trader. That's my primary bread and butter. But trading the NASDAQ has been an absolute blast. Now you can see the arrows on the screen. That's my algo. That's my latest algo right there. I call it the Trinamo. And it's been mostly right. 1, 2, 3, 4 signals, all winners. This one technically is a winner on a low time frame, but obviously the news came after that. So the algo that I built is working. We teach you how to build such algos. Here's some more winners on the way up. There's one here, 1, 2 there. These are all winners. Everyone on the screen is a winner, and even this one, I probably, because of my algorithmic exits, would not have lost, maybe had won a little bit, okay? So that's the algo working for you. Now we have headlines overnight, and I'll move over to that headline. And this has been something very predictable, right? Okay, this is the bad news that hit right here. Hezbollah chief rejects U.S. mediated Israel troops, Trump to maintain ceasefire with Iran unless American troops killed. And then the quote unquote good news came out here this morning on oil prices fall as White House signals will maintain a ceasefire with Iran unless American troops are killed. So it's typical. You'll get some kind of, bad headlines about Iran. The market will fall. And then you get Trump to say something to push it up. It happens mostly on Mondays, right? And it's been happening Mondays almost like clockwork. And as a matter of fact, those of you who are in the audience who are part of Algo Factory will I can show you in the chat here, but you guys can back me up. I said it Monday, like over the weekend, there was tough talk from Iran. We had a little bit of bearishness in the NASDAQ. Dollar is getting stronger. And I was like, hey guys, Trump's going to say something. And like within an hour, he said something to kind of turn that around and push the NASDAQ back up, and up it went for, a couple days. So this is just a typical thing. It's getting predictable. I don't like to trade news, but when it's that predictable, once the news is already out, then you can understand how to trade it. But you don't want to just wait for the news, trade it exactly when it happens. That's probably not a good idea. But once the market has a moment to digest that news, and then you can let your algos tell you what to do, it's a great way to go. The prop firm, when I started trading it, I think it was at Tuesday when I told you about it.
Yeah.
And, I didn't even get to start at the beginning of the market. I had to sign up. It's like $140. I got like a 50% discount because I know a guy. And long story short, you trade like a $50,000 fake account, and once you get $3,000 in profit, you go ahead and they give you money, right? You get funded, you get paid, you keep 90% of the profits. There's rules. I think that first day I made like $1,100 because it was so easy. It was just everything was up, right? Second day, not quite as much, but that's, it was real choppy yesterday. But still, I was able to establish a pattern, trade smaller, and make my wins consistently. So understand that this is all very doable. And, I could easily be funded by next week. Now, prop firms are a casino for a lot of people. So this is where I have to give you the cautionary tale. This is what I think is a good idea if you're ever going to trade a prop firm. I've been trading for, I don't know, this kind of trading for like 7 years. This is what I do for a living. So, I kind of took a break like a couple of years ago, like early 2020s. I just took a break because I had some kids and chilled out. So, but let's just say I've been trading for years. I would build a system, be profitable with that system, right? And actually trade like either at least a demo account, but I'd trade my own funds. I put like 1,000 at least, just a small, tiny account, like $1,000 account, just, get some money together, throw it in there, trade your own money, and be successful with that for like a year, at least 6 months. And then once you're like that, then once you understand how to trade your system, then go look into a prop firm, because prop firms add additional rules, right? You have to be, there's like drawdown limits, and you have to be profitable this many days to get a payout, and you start to add different rules to the mix that make you have to trade more conservatively. And if you don't know how to trade in the first place, you'll start to make mistakes based on that. We got a request from SGCS4N to look at PCOR. We'll look at it. Let me just go ahead and talk about the NASDAQ first, and then we'll jump into that stock. That's a tech stock we looked at yesterday. So on the greater move, we're going to see one of two things. The prior top to the NASDAQ was here. And these kind of moves on the NASDAQ are also pretty predictable, okay? And there's a chance that the NASDAQ might, let me just delete those, apologies. NASDAQ might move down to this level right about here. It might grind and, be hard to predict and get down to that level. And that level is 29,805, okay? So that's where the NASDAQ might go to and then bounce again, right? Very possible. Okay, so we'll see how that works. It might be that Trump's headlines just make it bounce right where it is. Price already bounced on this level. You can see it. This is the level here. Price bounced twice right here. So it may not need to bounce to that level. And the level where it would bounce is actually, if you're looking at like a kind of a mini bounces right there, it's already broken below that. So it's kind of a messy situation. So if I just kind of take a look at the whole data stack here, I would say, yeah, there's just based on the way this is going, if I had to guess how it was going to go right this moment, this momentum is probably going to take it down back to this level again, and then it'll probably head up as long as like no bad news comes or Trump just feeds really good news into it, or the plunge protection team comes in and stops it from going. So that's what I expect in NASDAQ. The stock request PCOR, Pcor Tech Inc. Okay, so we didn't get, remember how I said I would not be interested in going long until this broke above 55.32. That was a safe play. Well, sure enough, it did not do that. It broke down here, and I did say that these gaps like to fill. Did I not? I said that. I said that on yesterday or Tuesday. I forget what day it was. And this gap that occurred back on Friday the 29th, you can see it right here. This is where the gap occurred. I extended that out, and I told you the price may want to come back down and grab that. Very possible. Well, guess what? There are two more gaps now, right? So we'll mark those up. This is not really a gap. I mean, I don't even know if I count that, but this certainly is a gap, right? So what's going to happen next? Well, we're in a different scenario now than we were before. We have a pretty strong support down here, right? The bottom of a much greater consolidation than we marked out. This is roughly at 46.41. So what are we looking at doing? Well, just looking at this overall chart, I can tell you that there's a decent chance the price is either going to bounce where it is and head up, or it's going to want to make its way down to grab liquidity in this prior sort of congestion consolidation area right here, right? And as it stands right now, it's a little tough to tell what it's going to do. It's in pre-market. It's bouncing pretty hard. So right now it closed right here, the top of this green bar. I will zoom in. It closed at the top of this green bar, okay, right there. But the pre-market is higher. It's at 51.30. So green bar, 50.65. Pre-market is up about 2% from there. So it's squeezing up a little bit, but that's the pre-market. And that might also involve some of the jubilation from what Trump said. So what happens in the next couple of days is going to be pretty tough to actually parse out. It's either going to just kind of go up uncontrollably because all of a sudden everybody's happy, or it, and who knows how that will end, or it's going to come down. But here's the thing about trading. There are times when it's like there's no clear signal. And for the near term, that's how it is for this stock for me. There's no clear signal. We're just going to have to wait to see what it does. Either way, though, on the higher time frame, what I expect from this stock doesn't really look very good. Okay, it doesn't look good right now. It don't look good, bruv. Okay, so the high time frame is bearish. So let's go ahead and zoom way out. We'll go to the monthly. This does not look good to me. Okay, this looks very bad. So whatever happens, sure, you can win on the short term. You have opportunities, but I think price is eventually going to revisit these lows down at 40. Right, it's very possible right now. So on the high time frame, on the monthly, I have a bearish bias, and on the weekly, the bias is choppy on the weekly, right? And it was bullish on the daily, but it's bumped up against a lot of resistance. And there is a really good chance, if I had to bet how this would go, if you just said, hey, gun to your head, what's this thing going to do in the next week or two? I think you're going to see it play around and then come back down to revisit 45. That's what I think is going to happen. It might take a while, though, because first of all, it's a stock. Secondly, it's an older stock that is bearish on the high time frame. It could do a whole bunch of crap, who knows what, and eventually make its way to 45-ish. Okay, that's what I think. I could be wrong. Let's just say money gets pumped into this thing. All of a sudden, Palantir makes a partnership. I don't know. I don't know what's happening with this company. I can only tell you what's happening with the charts, right? So you got to be careful with this one. No clear signal. Feel free to come back on and ask me in the next couple of days, and we'll go from there. We got a few minutes left, so I'll go ahead and keep it here. Today will be on the YouTube entire show here, so feel free to ask questions. We got a few people in the private chat as well that I'm watching, so ask questions in there if you wish. But the show here will end in about 5 to 10 minutes, okay? We'll see. News will affect it in the short term, SG. So, no problem. No problem at all. SG, are you a member of Algo Factory? You want to come trade with us? Talk to me about it. If you go in the description, there's a free algo, right? V was talking about it earlier. You can click on that link. And it's a real quick video. I think it's 15 minutes. And I build a very basic algo in there, just right in front of you. And you can do it practically for free on TradingView. And then use AI, which is also free for this use, to turn it into code, which is where these little arrows come from. So for example, this is on the 3-hour chart. This arrow right here is an algo that I built. And by the way, it's a pretty simple one. Okay. So if you're thinking about it, SG, I see that note in there. Go ahead. Each one of these arrows here are correct so far. That one, this one called a nice move up. This one called a small move up that's profitable. It took a day and a half to move up before it went down. This one called a move up that was from $56. It topped out at about 59. That's a 4% gain. And these are, some of these are 10% gains. I mean, this one, called from conservatively from 52 all the way up to 58. So it's 12%. It's about 11% gain. So, I can teach you how to build these kind of things. Just look in the link description, click that. And if you go to that video, you'll also get put on an email list where you get more stuff from us. And you get to learn more about what we do. Right. And then you can make your choice later. So I would look for a clear signal on this. One way to trade this though, If it doesn't go above this level that we talked about, where you got this high right here, given that we see the continued bearishness, another way to do this would be to go ahead and have it go to that level and take a short. But again, I talked to you about it. I think you're playing options, so you could look into like a short-term put, like a weekly expiration put at that point. But I would make sure as price approaches that $55 level to be pretty clear on what's going to happen next, like relatively clear and conservative. So feel free to come on here and keep asking about your stock, and we'll see if we can continue to give you some elucidation. Via the Gorilla, anything else you want to see in the charts right now?
No, nothing else, man.
Let's take a quick look. We got a little bit of time left. Gold and silver are very quiet right now. They're holding up though. The interesting thing about gold and silver is that, it's very choppy, and by all accounts, it should be pushing down a lot harder than it is, right? If you look at the info, like my data stack here, it should be tanking, but it's just not tanking. It keeps getting pushed up. Isn't that interesting, Lee?
Yeah.
What do you think that's about? Why does it not go down? When it by all of my measurements, it should be heading down, but it just won't do it. What do you think that's about?
Not exactly sure. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in the markets, and I can't really comment on it at this moment, man. I really couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I want to just guess that it's just the physical market giving it a floor. I bet you the premiums right now are approaching $10. I'm just gonna look, and then we'll hop off out of here. Let's look at monex.com. I'll flip over to that screen in a second, folks. Let's share this tab. Okay. While I'm looking this up, V, tell us about your show coming up today with Stas.
I have a show with Stas coming up at 2:00 today. Stas is out in Moscow, and we're going to be doing a show talking about all things geoeconomic and political and strategic, especially with Iran, as well as the Ukraine situation, as the Western countries get exposed for what they are, man.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I'm going to be on with Stas on another show in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just a complete coincidence there. So look, for Eagles, right? Eagles are a little bit more, but quantities of 100, just for one, let's just say 4 tubes, you buy 100 coins, it's 87.64. But the spot's at like 75. That's a $12 premium. Yes, Eagles are crap. Agreed. I don't buy them. I think they're fine. They're easier to sell in the U.S. and people think that there should be an additional premium because they're U.S. coins. I like to buy Maples personally. It's the same amount of silver. It's actually a little bit more. They're finer. They're 9999. And at this point, if you buy 100 of them, this is over at monex.com, a company with which I'm very familiar. It's just like a $5 premium. It's just a lot less of a premium. So it's interesting that metals should be where they are right now. That's all I can say. And V, you've said what you have to say on it. So yeah. Let's end it here. Check out the link. Yeah, Maples are where it's at. Maples Britannias for the same reason. I have, and I don't mind buying Britannias. They're 4.9s as well. But thank you all for sticking with us today. And we will see you. It'll be Monday. I'll have the weekly report out, right, where I cover NASDAQ, Bitcoin, 3 of the major forex pairs. I'm not touching any Japanese yen pairs until after the 15th, probably, because they continue to manipulate that. Well, that'll be the last thing we look at here today. They don't want it to go above 160. And I had a smart question from one of our members, Larry, asking, why don't you just short it when it hits 160? Like, well, you can do that, but the problem is that what if you get nuked, right? And there are people who, that when the euro was pegged to the Swiss franc, there were people who lost thousands and thousands of dollars because they removed the peg. This is not a peg, but it may act the same if they decide no longer to protect it at 160. So I don't like to play manipulation, but you can see here, and it's open manipulation. They're not hiding it. But Tuesday and Wednesday, they nuked it down to keep it below 160. Monday the 15th is when BOJ is going to give us what their monetary policy is going to be. They're going to tell us what their new rate is and stuff like that. and I get the feeling that they're going to hike because they have to. I don't know if V. I don't know if you have any views on that. Do you think they're going to hike, or you think they're going to keep it where it is?
They're gonna. I'd say 60-40. They're gonna hike.
They got to hike at some point because
they got to hike.
These slam downs on USDJPY, they're trying to keep it below this 160 level, but that's costing them billions of dollars. Now they do have a lot of forex reserves, but I don't know how long that's going to last. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 major slam downs, plus 5, 6, 7. Like I could see several very suspect, plus 8, 9. So every time they do this is billions and billions of dollars, and they're probably running out of money. So I would expect a hike. And we talked about this. If the JPY hikes, the rest of the market may suffer. So better watch out. Better not cry. Be the Grill. Get us out of here, sir.
Absolutely. Listen, guys, look, here's the deal. Lots of stuff going on in the world. Stay ahead of it. Right here, Algo Factory Tech, where we teach you not only to trade and to build the algorithms, but giving you the broader geopolitical, geostrategic outlook so you can see the forest through the trees and make winning trades like a hedge fund pro. With that being said, Cowboy, take us out, buddy. Look, so you can see the forest through the trees and make winning trades like a hedge fund pro.